Hello everyone. In the last session, we have discussed about a phenomenon called electrolysis and the device in which it is carried out, that is electrolytic cell, and the components of electrolytic cell. Further, we considered the factors which affect the product of electrolysis, that is, we considered nature of the electrode, and second factor, nature of the ion. And nature, when you consider nature of the electrode, we consider two types of electrodes: passive electrodes and active electrodes, or I can say inert electrode and attackable, or I can say active electrodes. And even we considered respective examples for those. And even we have discussed about a few examples of product of electrolysis. Okay, then coming to the next concept, that is laws of electrolysis. So in the year 1834, Michael Faraday gave a quantitative relationship between mass of the substance deposited or dissolved or liberated at electrodes during electrolysis. Well, what we know, when you pass electrical energy through molten state or aqueous solution of an electrolyte, what happens? Ions first migrate towards respective electrodes, that is, anion move towards anode and cations move towards cathode. When they reach the electrode surface, what I said, based on their discharge potential, okay, what happens? Those ions will be discharged and gives product. If the products are unstable, they undergo some secondary changes to give secondary product or products. Okay, so here what happens, there involves some chemical changes. That change can be measured quantitatively: how much compound get deposited or dissolved or liberated. So based on the nature of the product obtained at respective electrodes, we can say maybe get deposited or dissolved or liberated at electrodes. It is correlated with the quantity of electricity passed. So I can say here the quantitative relationship between mass of the substance deposited or dissolved or liberated at an electrode with the quantity of electricity, or I can say electric charge, passed through an electrolytic solution. This relation, the quantitative relationship between these two parameters, is given by Michael Faraday. In what form? In the form of laws of electrolysis. Okay, so I repeat, the quantitative relationship between mass of the substance deposited or dissolved or liberated at an electrode during electrolysis with quantity of electricity passed is given by Michael Faraday in the form of laws of electrolysis. Well, Faraday proposed two laws. Well, what are those named? They are named as Faraday's first law and Faraday's second law. Well, we go for these laws in detail. Well, coming to the first one, what is the first one? Faraday's first law of electrolysis, or simply it is called Faraday's first law. Well, according to first law, what it says, when you look at the statement, what is the statement? During electrolysis, so the mass of the substance deposited or dissolved or liberated at any electrode. What we say, when you pass electric energy, there is also chemical changes on respective electrode surface. That mass of the substance either deposited at electrode or liberated at electrode or dissolved at electrode is directly proportional to quantity of electricity passed, that is Q. So according to Faraday's first law, what it says, the mass of the substance deposited, dissolved or liberated at any electrode is directly proportional to quantity of electricity passed through the electrolytic solution. Then we can say, according to first law, if we pass more electric current, there will be more chemical reaction. So there will be more either deposition, dissolution, or I can say liberation. So according to first law, we can say Mass of the substance deposited, dissolved or liberated at any electrode is directly proportional to quantity of electricity passed. Then if I want to get the illustration part, say if I consider W is the, small w is the mass of substance deposited, dissolved or liberated at an electrode. Then Q, say Q is the quantity of electricity passed through it. Then mathematically, or I can say according to the statement, W is proportional to Q. Mass of the substance deposited, dissolved or liberated at any electrode is directly proportional to quantity of electricity passed. So W is proportional to Q. So it is equation 1. Well, we know that quantity of electricity can be calculated. Say here quantity of electricity is measured in terms of coulombs of electricity, which indicates how much quantity of electricity passed. Actually, that Q is calculated by taking a product of strength of current and time. So what is Q? Q is the quantity of electricity. How it is obtained? By multiplying strength of current and time taken. So I here strength of current, which is measured in ampere, and T is the time, the time period, which is measured in terms of seconds. So we can say Q is equal to I into T. Then I can say equation 1 changes to W is proportional to instead of Q, what we can write? I into T, or else W is equal to Z into I into T. Means what you have done, this proportionality symbol is replaced by a proportionality constant, that is Z. So is the final mathematical form of a first law of Faraday, that is Faraday's first law. What it is? W is equal to Z into I into T. What is W here? It is the mass of the substance either deposited, dissolved or liberated at an electrode. What is I? I is the current in ampere, that is strength of current, which is measured in amperes, and T is the time period or time, which is measured in terms of second. And what is Z? Z is the a constant called electrochemical equivalent. I repeat, what is Z here? Z is a constant. It is named as electrochemical equivalent, and in short, it is abbreviated as ECE. Okay, ECE refers to electrochemical equivalent. Well, we go for the definition of that ECE, that is electrochemical equivalent. Well, so electrochemical equivalent is abbreviated with the letter Z. Now in the equation, as we have an equation W is equal to Z into I into T. Well, if I, strength of current, whatever the current we are passing through that electrolytic solution, if we pass 1 ampere of current, that is I is equal to 1 ampere for a time period of 1 second. So we have an electrolytic solution. How much current we are passing? We are just passing 1 ampere of current for 1 second. Then mathematically I can say I is equal to 1 ampere and T is equal to 1 second. If these data were substituted in that equation, that is W is equal to Z into I into T. Say I is 1 and T is also 1. Then what happens? If strength of current, if you pass 1 ampere of current through a electrolytic solution for 1 second, what happens? W becomes equal to Z. So that we get the definition for electrochemical equivalent. What is the consideration? If I, strength of current is 1 ampere and T is equal to 1 second, then W becomes equal to Z. Or I can say Z becomes equal to W. Then now we will get the definition for electrochemical equivalent. So according to this consideration, I can say the mass of the substance deposited or dissolved or liberated by passing 1 coulomb of electricity. 1 coulomb of electricity is nothing but 1 ampere of current passed for 1 second. Through what? Through electrolytic solution. So is called electrochemical equivalent. So I can say Here, electrochemical equivalent is the mass of the substance deposited, dissolved, or liberated at an electrode when 1 ampere of current is passed through electrolytic solution for 1 second. Is another way of defining ECE, electrochemical equivalent. So I repeat the definition. The mass of the substance deposited, dissolved, or liberated by passing 1 coulomb of electricity through electrolytic solution is called electrochemical equivalent. Okay, whatever the constant we got in Faraday's first law, that is Z, it is electrochemical equivalent. And how we can define it? It is the mass of the substance deposited, dissolved, or liberated at an electrode by passing 1 coulomb of electricity through electrolytic solution. Or else I can say by passing 1 ampere of current through electrolytic solution for 1 second. So it's regarding electrochemical equivalent. Okay. Then what is the unit for this electrochemical equivalent means? Say it is usually expressed in terms of gram per coulomb. Gram per coulomb, or even it is also expressed as kg per coulomb. Okay. Well, then coming to the chemical equivalent, one term we considered electrochemical equivalent. Now the another one, it is the chemical equivalent, or it is also called gram equivalent. Well, here electrochemical equivalent and chemical equivalent, whether both are same? No, both are different. Just to recall the definition for ECE, what it is? It is the, yes, it is the mass of substance deposited, dissolved, or liberated at an electrode by passing how much? 1 coulomb of electricity. By passing 1 coulomb of electricity. Now coming to chemical equivalent. Chemical equivalent, or I can say gram equivalent. What it is? It is the, yes, it is also the mass of substance deposited, dissolved, or liberated at an electrode by passing 1 Faraday of electricity. I repeat, chemical equivalent, or I can say gram equivalent, is nothing but it is the mass of substance deposited, dissolved, or liberated at an electrode by passing 1 Faraday of electricity through electrolytic solution is called chemical equivalent, or it is also called gram equivalent. Well, here we are using 1 Faraday. Then what it is? 1 Faraday means it is the charge carried by 1 mole of electrons. So what is 1 Faraday? 1 Faraday is the charge carried by 1 mole of a electron is called 1 Faraday. Well, we know that charge of an electron means charge carried by 1 electron, single electron. It is 1.602 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb. Then 1 mole means we know the value 6.022 or 023 into 10 raised to 23. So overall charge carried by 1 mole of electron means we are multiplying Avogadro number with the charge of 1 electron, single electron. So approximately what is the value we get? 96,500 coulomb. Okay, what is the value we are getting? It is the 96,500 coulomb. So overall what I can say, 1 Faraday is nothing but how many coulombs? 96,500 coulomb. So is the basic difference. So electrochemical equivalent is nothing but it is the mass of substance deposited, dissolved, or liberated at an electrode by passing 1 coulomb of electricity. On the other hand, chemical equivalent, or I can say gram equivalent, is nothing but it is the mass of substance deposited, dissolved, or liberated in an electrode by passing how many coulombs? 96,500 coulombs of electricity, or I can say simply 1 Faraday of electricity through electrolytic solution. So it is a basic difference between ECE and chemical equivalent, or I can say gram equivalent. It is abbreviated as E. Okay. Well, then say here mass of the substance deposited by passing 96,500 coulombs is equal to gram equivalent. As I said, gram equivalent or chemical equivalent is nothing but it is the mass of substance deposited by passing 96,500 coulombs of electricity. That is E. Therefore, mass of the substance deposited by passing 1 coulomb of electricity, what it is? We already mentioned ECE, that is electrochemical equivalent. So these two quantities are related, that is Z and E. How they are related? Z is equal to E divided by 96,500 coulomb. So we get equation 1. But we know that according to Faraday's first law, what is the mathematical form? W is equal to Z into I into T. So here what is Z? E divided by 96,500. So instead of Z, what I can write? E by 96,500. So this equation, when you substitute equation 1 in 2, what we get? W is equal to E into I into T divided by 96,500. So is the another form of Faraday's first law. Okay. So here W, mass of the substance, or I can say weight of the substance deposited, dissolved or liberated at an electrode. E, what is E? Gram equivalent, or I can say chemical equivalent. What is I? Strength of current measured in ampere. T, time in second. Then the one important relation here, the charge carried by n mole of electrons. 1 mole of electron means 1 Faraday, we already said here. Say 5 mole of means 5 Faraday, 3 mole of electron means 3 Faraday. So generally Q is equal to N into F. So what we are saying, the charge carried by n mole of electrons is given by Q is equal to Nf. Okay, it's regarding Faraday's first law, electrochemical equivalent, that is a mathematical form we come across, that is W is equal to ZIT, where we got a term electrochemical equivalent and the definition of ECE, and one more term chemical equivalent or gram equivalent, relation between those two, and the other form of a Faraday's first law, W is equal to EIT divided by 96,500, and important relation between number of moles of electron and charge. So the charge carried by n mole of electron will be n Faraday, that is Q is equal to Nf. Okay, so it is regarding Faraday's first law. Coming to the Faraday's second law, that is what it says. Say in the first law we considered only one electrolytic cell. One electrolytic cell in which there will be two metal electrodes which is immersed in electrolytic solution, which is taken in non-conducting vessel and externally connected to source of electricity. So when you pass electricity, what happens? There involves a chemical changes at the respective electrodes. So according to first law, we related mass of the substance deposited on the surface of either anode or cathode is directly proportional to quantity of electricity passed. Then here coming to the Faraday's second law. So what is the modification he made here? He connected, while dealing with the second law, Faraday thought of connecting electrolytic cells, not a single but different number of cells. That is, thought of connecting electrolytic cells in series. Means say A electrolytic cell, B electrolytic cell, C electrolytic cell. So all cells, they are going to have two electrodes, a one vessel, electrolytic solution. What is the common here? There he is to take common source of electricity. Instead of taking a separate source of electricity, individual source of electricity, what he has done? He used a common source of electricity for different electrolytic cells, which are connected, how? Which are connected in a series. When he analyzed and stated Faraday's second law, he gave the second law. What it is? When the same amount of electricity, when same quantity of electricity, or I can say when same amount of electricity is passed through solution of different electrolytes, connected in series, he is passing same quantity of electricity through solution of different electrolytes which are connected in a series. Then the masses of substance deposited, dissolved or liberated at electrode, the masses of substance deposited, dissolved or liberated, simply say discharged at an electrode, are directly proportional to their equivalent masses. So when two or more electrolytic cells are connected in a series, say what is common here? Source of electricity, amount of electricity. So what is the statement? When same quantity of electricity or same amount of electricity is passed through solution of different electrolytes connected in a series, then masses of substance discharged at an electrode are directly proportional to their equivalent masses. Means here W, weight of substance deposited, dissolved or liberated, is directly proportional to their chemical equivalent or gram equivalent, that is W is proportional to E. Suppose say we have connected two electrolytic cells in series and we are going to pass a same amount of electricity. Then what happens? W1 is proportional to E1 and W2 is proportional to E2. Similarly, say we have connected three electrolytic cells in a series, W1, W2, W3. It is the weight of substance deposited, dissolved or liberated at respective electrolytic cells, first, second and third. E1, E2, E3, they are the respective chemical equivalents. So according to the law, what it says? W1 proportional to E1, W2 proportional to E2, W3 proportional to E3. So here I have considered two electrolytic cells if they are connected in a series. So mathematical form will be W1 is proportional to E1, W2 proportional to E2. So overall W1 by E1, sorry, W1 by W2 is equal to E1 by E2. Okay, so it's a mathematical form for Faraday's second law. Well, say for example, when we pass same quantity of electricity through copper chloride CuCl2 electrolytic cell and molten magnesium chloride. It means say we have taken two electrolytic cells in which in the first one we have filled a molten copper chloride and second one you have filled a molten magnesium chloride, and both the electrolytic cells are connected in a series having a common source of electricity. Say in such case what happens? Mass of copper deposited to the mass of magnesium deposited at a first and second electrode is equal to, this ratio will be equal to equivalent mass of copper to the equivalent mass of magnesium. Okay, is it clear? It's regarding second, Faraday's second law of electrolysis. Then some important points to be remembered here. Here, say how equivalent mass is calculated. Then that is, while dealing with Faraday's second law especially, it is necessary to deal with the equivalent masses of a species, chemical species. Say if it is an element, that is, if it is present in its elemental state, generally how equivalent mass is calculated? Equivalent mass is equal to atomic mass divided by its valency. Itself gives the equivalent mass. Then, so in general, equivalent mass of an element is equal to atomic mass divided by valency. Then second, when you go for hydrogen, these are the most commonly used examples which we come across while dealing with the Faraday's second law. Okay, so I have listed out this. Second thing, equivalent mass of hydrogen means atomic mass divided by valency. Atomic mass is 1, its valency is 1. So molecular mass and equivalent mass both are same, 1 itself. On the other hand, when you think of hydrogen, we know that hydrogen even exists as a gas. If hydrogen is liberated in the form of gas, we know in general at STP 1 mole of gas is going to occupy how much volume? 22 point, or I can say 22,400 cm cube of volume, ml of volume. So 1 mole of gas is going to occupy 22,400 or 22.4 liter of volume. So according to that, if I consider equivalent volume of hydrogen will be 11,200 cm cube. Okay, means 1 mole of hydrogen gas contains 2 hydrogen atoms. So by 2, equivalent volume will be 11,200 cm cube. Similarly, if you go for equivalent mass of oxygen, it is 8. Equivalent mass of sodium 23. Equivalent mass of magnesium, valence is 2, magnesium 2 plus, so it is 12. Similarly, equivalent mass of aluminum, atomic mass 27, but its valence is 3, so it is equivalent mass will be 9. Equivalent mass of chlorine, valence is 1, so 35.5 by 1, so it will be 35.5 itself. As like for copper 2 plus, copper plus. See here, equivalent mass of copper 2 plus. If the solution contains copper 2 plus ion, then it will be atomic mass divided by 2. If the solution contains cuprous ion, Cu plus ion, then atomic mass divided by 1. That is valency. 1 we have taken. 63.1 itself here. If it is plus 2, it is 31.75. Similarly, silver ion, Ag plus, atomic mass 108 by 1. So it is regarding some important points to be remembered while dealing with Faraday's second law. Okay. Then, when you look at the application part, applications of electrolysis. So what is necessary to study this concept, electrolysis, or else where it is used, this concept. Okay. So what is the application of electrolysis means? What are the regions, or I can say areas where this electrolysis concept is widely applied means, first thing we can say determination of equivalent masses of an element. To determine the equivalent mass of an element, this electrolysis concept, or I can say these Faraday's law are used, so it becomes the one application part. And second major important region where it is employed means in electrometallurgy. In electrometallurgy, which means during isolation, or I can say during extraction of metals from their respective ores, one of the method will be electrometallurgy. So I can say in the isolation of reactive metals like sodium, potassium, magnesium, calcium, aluminium, generally what we can say during isolation of reactive metals, those reactive metals can be isolated from their ores, or I can say from the earth crust, with the help of electrometallurgy techniques. This is the second application. So we say in electrometallurgy. And the third application comes to in electro refining. So refining means it is a kind of purification technique. Electro refining. Say the reactive metals again, the metals like copper, silver, gold, aluminium are purified, or I can say refined, a technique refined by a technique called electro refining. So in electro refining, so is one of the purification techniques. So these metals can be purified with the help of electro refining techniques. What is the fourth application? It is the electroplating. What it says is the process of coating a layer of superior metal over the surface of a inferior metal. So superior usually non-reactive towards the atmospheric conditions, while inferior highly reactive metals. So in electroplating, what happens? The concept of electroplating rises to overcome the corrosion, or I can say rusting. So here what we do, a superior metal is coated over the surface of a inferior metal. So the main objective of this electroplating is to check corrosion, or I can say rusting of inferior metals is the major point or concern towards electroplating. And the second thing, to impart lustrous or brightness to inferior metals is one more application. And then last one, during electrolysis what happens, there will be production of large number of or variety of compounds. So overall we can say for the preparation of various chemical compounds. Okay, so overall if I consider applications of electrolysis, first one, determination of equivalent mass of an element, second in electrometallurgy, third in electro refining, and in fourth electroplating, and the fifth one in the preparation of various chemical compounds. Okay, so it is regarding laws of electrolysis, their mathematical form, and we considered some other terms like electrochemical equivalent, chemical equivalent, the relation among those, and regarding applications of electrolysis. Okay, I hope you understood this concept. In the next session, we discuss about some other concept of electrochemistry. Okay, thank you.